Welcome to the Cross Canada Spotlight. I'm Mike Arsenault. Every week we take a look at a handful of some of the most interesting and entertaining stories produced across the Global News Network. The 2022 Winter Olympics start this week in Beijing, and a couple of weeks after the closing ceremonies, the 2022 Paralympics will begin. Our first story is about visually impaired cross-country skier Brian McKeever, who will be competing in his final Paralympics at the age of 42.
For 2 decades, Canmore's Brian McKeever has owned the Paralympic podium. The cross-country skier, who is visually impaired, is Canada's most decorated Winter Paralympian with 17 medals, including 13 golds. On Wednesday morning, he was officially invited to a 6th Winter Games. But the 42-year-old says the wear and tear of elite sport is taking its toll on his body, and Beijing will be his final Paralympic voyage.
Yeah, I'm broken. It's a lot of constant pain now, and I'm still enjoying it. And I committed here, but I just can't see my body holding up 4 more years. So this is my last games.
Rather than chasing another medal, McKeever says he's pursuing a feeling of satisfaction and knowledge that he's given every race all he has. The thing is, he's still winning. In December, McKeever won gold in the 7.5 and 12.5 kilometer races at the World Cup in Canmore with guide Graham Nishikawa.
I've never seen someone more motivated and passionate about the sport at his age, and to have, he's just so excited by some things, and I'm very impressed with it, and I kind of take it and try to put it into my own training and philosophies and stuff.
Post-racing career, McKeever plans to stay in the sport as a mentor, coach, and wax tech, and says he's excited to see what the next crop of Canadian Nordic talent can accomplish.
There's another generation coming that deserves recognition and focus, and and I think that's where the attention should go. I'm happy that I was part of this for as long as I was. But it's time for others now.
That is a heck of a career. We both lived it for our entire lives, starting as little kids out in the field in Calgary behind Dad. And now it's just about, where do you want to take it, or what other avenues out there are there that he wants to do?
The Paralympics start on March 4th. Cami Kepke, Global Sports.
What an incredible career Brian has had, and what a fitting end to that career it would be if he's able to add to his medal haul coming up in March. I actually interviewed his guide Russ Kennedy at the end of last year. He will be looking for an Olympic medal in Beijing as well. Next up, a story about an 81-year-old Canadian veteran living in his car and a group of local BC veterans who banded together to help out.
To most, it's a forest green Saturn sitting idle on the edge of a Squamish parking lot. For Orville Larson, this driver's seat doubles as his library, pantry, and bedroom.
I put the seat back. I got all my stuff here. This is what I own. This is it.
The 81-year-old veteran admits he's had better days. Last summer, he was evicted from a property in the Squamish Valley. Most of his possessions stolen from storage.
I take it as it comes. I don't complain.
Then, a chance encounter with a few fellow veterans, men who may not have served directly with Larson, but are nonetheless his brothers, now brought together by circumstance.
Oh, we can do right by this guy, because that's just the right thing to do. Somebody like 81 years old can't be living in his car.
An online fundraiser was set up with hopes of collecting about $5,000, now totaling more than 30 grand.
Every little bit helps, because everybody can contribute something, and it's awesome. The whole community just come together. It's just mind-blowing to see this thing happen.
A van has already been purchased, and whether it's businesses offering services and parts or complete strangers delivering cash, it seems the entire community is on a mission to help this humble man.
I didn't know that. I didn't know I was that popular.
In hopes of preserving Larson's sense of independence, the plan is to convert this van into a comfortable living space.
A basic conversion just to get him, into a bed where he can lay down, a stove, a sink, have running water, the basic needs.
Larson's only key request: keep most of the money raised and spend it on others in need.
What we want to do now is help other people.
This brotherhood just the beginning of a new Vans for Veterans initiative, inspired by someone who might be used to having so little, but always looks for more ways to serve. John Hua, Global News.
What a terrific story that puts a smile on your face after a very tough weekend. And it's amazing to hear Orville, after being down on his luck, that he just wants the bare necessities from the support and to give the remainder to others in need. To Ontario now, where a young woman with glaucoma is using photography to show others what it's like to see the world through her eyes.
At 21, Jordan Tidd is a professional fashion model, photographer, and the founder of Eyes Open.
I always found that describing glaucoma through words alone was very difficult for people to understand. And so with photography, I'm able to edit photos so you can see the world how I see the world.
Twice a year, Jordan hosts photography exhibitions, showcasing her work while educating others about glaucoma, a disease she's been living with for 4 years.
The peripheral blindness slowly gets larger and larger until you're basically looking through a straw.
At 17, you noticed a change in your eyesight. Did that come on suddenly, slowly?
There was like a film over top of my vision. So where you might see a plain white wall, I see a bunch of white dots. It's pixelated.
The optic nerve is made up of lots of nerve fibers.
Glaucoma is a disease of the optic nerve, and the optic nerve is what gets the images that you see with your eyes to your brain through different nerve fibers. But when those nerve fibers get damaged,
glaucoma is often related to an increase of pressure inside the eye.
That's what leads to blind spots and vision loss. It's irreversible.
As a person living with the disease, Jordan captures the unique perspective of the world around her through her lens.
So you took this right from the airplane, and this is exactly how you see.
This is how I see, Susan, all these little dots, but all the time, and that's my everyday life. I've partnered with the Canadian Ophthalmological Society. They're the national authority on eye and vision care in Canada. They've been helping me out, providing the most accurate information, because that's, I'm not a doctor.
See a star move over to the right?
Known as the silent thief of sight, glaucoma is the second leading cause of blindness in older North Americans, and more than 400,000 Canadians are living with glaucoma today.
Yet nearly 50% don't even know what it is.
Is it difficult for you taking a photo from last year and seeing the difference, the progression? Is it scary for you?
It's a little nerve-wracking. The peripheral blindness is the scariest part. I started the treatment early, which is good, but it's definitely still been progressing. Even though it's scary, the camera is my vision, and thankfully the camera never fails.
Susan Hay, Global News.
I definitely gained some awareness about glaucoma with that story. I thought it was a disease that just impacted seniors. I was very surprised to learn that Jordan was first diagnosed at 17. We're heading to outer space for our next story, way outer space, and the journey of the Webb telescope, destined to look at the beginning of the universe.
Decollage, liftoff.
After 30 years of preparation, it's been a nerve-wracking 29 days.
Séparation Webb Space Telescope. Go Webb!
The James Webb Space Telescope zoomed from Earth to a place 1.5 million kilometers away, all the while fine-tuning, stretching out its tennis court-sized solar shield and unfolding its giant mirror.
We're now at our orbital destination and soon enough be able to make amazing discoveries.
Webb has parked in a perfect location, shielded from the heat and light of the sun. At 85 degrees Celsius on the hot side, the instruments would not have lasted. But on the cold side, at minus 233 Celsius, Webb can work for years. In the dark, its infrared cameras will gaze deep into the universe.
James Webb is going to follow the Earth around.
Canadian astronomer Lisa Dang will be among the first to use Webb to study a distant exoplanet with oceans of lava and a rock vapor atmosphere that could reveal life elsewhere in the universe.
First, we're looking at the constituents of the atmosphere of a lot of planets. What are the processes that are making these constituents? Is it life? And if it is, then how are we going to move forward and detect this life?
Canada is a major partner with NASA and the European Space Agency, building an imager to probe those faraway planets and a guidance sensor to focus on the most distant galaxies. That will take us closer to the Big Bang. The Webb telescope will gather light, peering back more than 13 billion years to help understand how it all began.
That's when the modern structure of the universe was, the template was being laid down. Webb is going to be able to show us how those stars formed and how those galaxies and galaxy clusters were forming right back there at the beginning of time. That will be huge.
The mirrors will be tweaked for months. The first clear images should be visible in June. It all culminates 20 years of work for one Canadian astronomer and the best is still to come.
I'm on the team that's looking at the baby galaxies and then the growth of galaxies. All of us right here at St. Mary's are super excited.
One added bonus, Webb didn't need as much fuel as planned for the flight, so it will have more fuel to operate well beyond its 10-year lifetime. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.
I am fascinated by stories about the complexities of the universe, but then I start thinking about the vastness of space and how we are merely a blip in the cosmos, and then I start thinking about the insignificance of life, start to freak out a little bit, so why don't we just move on? Our final story of the week is about a young man named Wyatt and his status as a budding entrepreneur in Alberta.
We have cool belts, you got the bolt buckle.
There's no shortage of one-of-a-kind finds.
This is so cool. You have to like spin like that.
All part of Wild Wild Wyatt's Western Wear, a soon-to-be pop-up shop for all your second-hand Stampede needs. Over the last month, Wyatt Schmoozko has been thrifting and receiving donations, building up his inventory.
Like really hard, but not really hard, but it's easy.
The goal is to set up shop in the spring, helping Calgarians get into the Stampede spirit.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
While turning a profit would be nice, Wyatt's mom says the focus is on making every step of the sale a learning experience.
We just thought it was a great opportunity for him to take pride in something, for him to have something of his own, for him to make some money and to show off his personality and his charisma at the same time. Yeah, we kind of do it as a team, don't we?
Yeah.
Do the buttons up?
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for Wyatt to get a line item on his resume and to show people that he's a capable and charismatic kid, and he's ready to take on different challenges.
I wish I had a store someday too, and yeah.
The family is hoping to set up shop at local markets in the coming months, and if you stop by, the sales pitch is simple.
We have cool stuff.
Should we put them down here?
Yeah.
Michael King, Global News.
Way to go, Wyatt. Hopefully lots of business comes his way in a few months when Albertans are beginning their Stampede prep. That's it for the Cross Canada Spotlight. Be sure to watch Global News Weekend Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. on the Global TV app and Amazon Prime Video.